In it to win it right now, boys and girls. This one I've been waiting to bring out. I've just needed the day. Today is the day. This is a Walter Mathews design from Condor Knives. You can see it's signed by Walter, personalized. And I didn't notice he had to tell me. Even on the inside, he put, keep it sharp, buddy. The guy's a super guy, super class act, great human being. And he can design a knife. So the story goes, and some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not, so I'll just say it real quick. At Blade Show with Choir Boys Outdoors and JS Bladecraft, we were walking around, and at one point Joe and I stop at the Condor booth. While at the Condor booth, this was not in the sheath, it was just sitting there on display. I saw this and I lost it, man. I had to grab this knife. There was, I don't want to say there was something about it, because it was everything about it. This thing is awesome. I saw this blade sitting there. I put it in my hand and I said, oh my God, Joe, feel this knife. And it was, it sat in my hand maybe better than pretty much any other knife. There's only two knives that I found there that were like so perfect that they had to be here. One I just brought you guys. This is the Outpost Command by Tops. And then there was the Toki by Condor. And I have to say that these two knives are as perfect as you can get in a blade. I mean, when I grab a knife, my first thought is, what would I do different? As a designer, I always want to see what's wrong before I see what's right, and say, oh, I wonder, man, if it was just this, or if it just had this. There's none of that. There is absolutely none of that. This knife is as good as it gets when you're talking about a camp blade, when you're talking about a bushcraft blade, when you're talking about a survival knife. It's as good as it gets. This knife is phenomenal. Even the sheath is so well thought out. You have a ferro rod holder. You have a sharpening rod holder. You have the gear pouch. You can put your tinder in there. You can put cordage in there. You can put anything you want. You can put twigs and berries. I don't care what you put in there. It's going to work. The sheath is a dangler. It works out so well on the belt. I have two others in the exact same sheath. I have the original Selknam and the new one in the new grind, and they are just phenomenal. All right, so I had an alert come over the phone, and apparently it shuts down your video. I did not know that. So I was talking about this guy in here. That is for striking, for a fire making. It's to strike. So if you have like char cloth and that's what you use as your tinder, you can use that to bang on. I use a ferro rod, but this thing in there, what if you lose your ferro rod? This thing is attached. You're good. You have a secondary way to start a fire. Awesome. Not only do you have a secondary way to start a fire, but you have a thirdendary way to start a fire. Look at the size of that bow hole, man. So now, Walter Mathews is a professional survivalist. He teaches people how to be better survival, how to stay alive, right? I mean, he's a 21-year veteran. The guy is just, I mean, he's awesome, man. He really is. And ladies, he's a handsome dude. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good-looking fella. But he can get a spark going in 12 seconds. 12 seconds, and I believe it because this is the deepest, biggest, most beautiful bow hole I've ever seen. Not only that, but you also have a ferro rod striker. You can put the knife in the sheath, use it that way, or you can just use it this way and hold around the blade. You'll be fine. The grip is so nice. Ergonomically, this thing, my hands, double X, I guarantee if you have medium hands, even small hands, this thing is going to be so comfortable. Because even with giant hands, it's absolutely beautiful in the hand. There's nothing bad to say. You have a lanyard hole. You have some jimping that is non-aggressive jimping. It just adds enough drag on the thumb. When I push with my thumb, it sticks. Your spine is thick all the way through. It's just gorgeous. You know what? This is the second time I did this, where I normally have all the specs ready to go. But I just get so excited for the certain knives, and so far it's only been 2, that I just jumped into the video without even pulling up the specs. So let's get into the specs, and then we're going to go outside. This isn't going to be a part 1, part 2. This is going to be a let's get this thing going type thing. All right, so let's see. The Toki knife. We are looking at an overall length of 9.125 inches, a blade length of 4.625 inches, a cutting edge of 4.125 inches, a blade width of 1.63 inches, a blade thickness of 0.18 inches, a blade material of 1075 high carbon. It is a drop point, and it is a beautiful drop point. It is a convex grind. It says convex grind. It almost doesn't feel it's so lightly convex, it almost feels flat. It's really, really nice. Unless this is changed, I don't know. I could be looking at something different. Let's pause for a second and double check. I was right to double check. I was looking at one on, I just pulled up Blade HQ and I was reading it. So the old ones, just like the Selknam, the old one was convex, and now it is flat. So this is flat. And I was saying to myself, it really feels like a flat grind. It is a flat grind with a second bevel. So back to everything. It is a blasted satin, and the grips are micarta. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So the Toki was a tribal leader in Chile during the 15th century war times. There is an epic poem called La Araucana, and it describes the Chilean inhabitants as the people are so extraordinary and proud, gallant, and bellicose. I don't even know what that means. That's a good word. They have never been ruled by a king, nor foreign dominion submitted. So there's a whole thing about these people, and the tribal leader is where this is named after. This thing is just phenomenal. It is a phenomenal knife. Just in the hand, in the grip, just looking at it, it caught my eye immediately. And I knew at that moment I had to have it. I went to Walter. He was in what's called the pit, where all the people at Blade Show, after Blade Show is over, it's closed for the night. Boom, we go to the pit. Everybody, it's a big hangout. I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, that knife, you have it?" I said, "Hold on to it for me. Tomorrow I'm coming. I'm going to grab it from you." He said, "Okay." He thought I meant a different knife. He sold this one, broke my heart. He made up for it. He sent an autographed version instead. But that's just the kind of guy he is. He's like, this guy, I asked him, "Please hold it. I'm going to buy it." He said, "Most definitely, it's yours." Come to find out, we were crisscrossed in which one. And he was such a good guy. He was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you." And he did. The guy is just classy, just a class act. But let's stop talking about it. Let's just take it outside. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's get this thing some daylight. I really want you to see this. I mean, the texturing and the micarta is beautiful. The white liners make it pop. The brass pins, it just adds to the gorgeousness. There is nothing about this knife that I don't love. There's 2 knives that I found at Blade Show that I feel that way about. This is one of them. It is just perfect. So we got these little vine things growing, and if anybody has little vines that grow, you know what a pain in the butt they can be, especially when you try to cut them. They move when you hit them. This thing just goes straight through, man. Straight through. This is a perfect example of a survival bushcraft knife. It's a perfect example. You'd be hard pressed to find just a better knife of this style. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. Ooh, wow. All right, I'm gonna lose them all. We're about to get some rain, and I'm trying to get everything here before that happens, but I was just having fun shaving. I'm blowing away, but you can see the hairs on there. It just literally shaved Frankenstein's face nice and smooth. This thing is so nice and sharp, so well done. It's built like it looks. It's just perfect. It's beautiful. Let's do some 4-foot drops, and we'll see that gravity drop. It's got a nice bite, leaves a really nice wedge inside the wood because of that big fat tip. I'll tell you what, if I wanted to break apart some wood, I do not and will not have to worry about bending that tip. No way, no how am I worried about that tip. This thing is just awesome. Do some hard downward throws. Look at that bite. That is beautiful. Not worried about the tip bending, of course, doing that either. And I'm not worried about these scales coming off. They're just done right. The Toki is awesome, man. Let's see here. I got the 1/2-inch nylon rope. Let's get a cut on that. See if we can't just do a, here we go. See if we can't get a push cut on that. How sharp are you, Toki? Right away. Right away. Ba-boom. It's, man, the feel of this knife, it's just awesome. And man, that really digs in there. And I do these little throws like that because a lot of times you can get pretty close to an animal, especially like a duck or a goose or things like that. So if you're in a survival situation where you need food and there's wild game and there's birds or there's squirrels or there's things like that, it's really good to practice throwing a knife, because if that is your only way to hunt, if the knife is what you have, then maybe you're not a good bow maker and you can't make arrows and maybe you suck with a spear. Even if you can throw a knife and hit a small animal even sideways, you might disorient it enough to be able to come over with a stick and then finish the job. And I know it sounds bad, but when you got to survive no matter what. So I like to test this to see how it releases from the hand. And I have to say, that release is really nice because of the way the grip is. It's just absolutely wonderful. Let's see what kind of cut we can get through the cables here on the extension cord. Boom. Let's make sure there's no folding. Look at that. Look at that. There's not a single one of those metals has folded over. That is an absolute straight cut. Very clean. Just absolutely perfect. They literally don't get any better than that. We got some nylon infused fuel hose. Let's see. Got to cut. It's got to cut. I'm going to cut this thing open here. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to cut off a little piece. And then I'm going to have just a piece like this, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down on it. Now, if the knife is not sharp, all that's going to happen is this little piece is just going to fold and it won't cut. Let's see. Let's see. Boom. That is completely straight across. That means no folding, no nothing like that. The knife is just great. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Exactly what it's supposed to be. Let's go play some more. Let's see. I like stuff like this. I like finding stuff like this out here. Let's see. Bam. 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 This thing's just going all the way down. Bam. 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 All the way down, man. You can mow the lawn with this thing. Look at this. You can clear thorns and brush with your Toki. You can just clear it all, baby. This is just nice. It's just really, really nice. I'm super excited about this one, and I'm probably going to fumble my words. And the reason is because I just love it so much. And I don't love it because of the guy. I love the guy because of it. You know what I mean? It's like when I met Walter, I met him through this knife, and I didn't know this was his knife. I had no idea. I didn't know who he was when I met him. The guy's a legend. I had no idea who he was. But when I saw this, I started playing with it, and I was telling Joe, you got to check this out. Look at this curl right here is holding me on. And I'm like, Joe, you got to check this knife out. This thing is awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And that's when Walter comes over. He takes it right out of my hand to show me some things. And at first, I'm like, all right, well, who's this guy? And then when he starts saying, I designed it like this, like this, like this, then, the respect was just immediate. Not only was the respect immediate for that, but then we start talking about military, our experiences, and we start trading photos of us doing EOD work, which is, bomb disposal, bomb work. And so it was really cool that we had like these commonalities, these things that just like not everybody gets to share. He was just a really good dude. He was just a really good dude. But better than that and more than that, he's an amazing knife designer. There's an axe. I said it in the other video when I did this Selkdom. He has an axe that I really, really want to get into. I'm gonna have to pick one up because it looks amazing, and you guys know how I am with my tomahawks. So I'm just gonna have to get into that eventually. All right, let's see. Look at this. Look at this. Bam. Bam. I want to see if I can get a nice deep, a nice deep cut. Oh, it's just going all the way through. Oh, speaking of deep cuts, it's like the tracks. All right, let's do this. Speaking of deep cut, this has nothing to do with deep cut. This just has something to do with cut. All right, so what I want to do is just a nice little notch here. And make a nice clean notch. Notching is really, really good for like survival situations, bushcraft, because it helps you put things together. Let's turn that into a square notch. It helps you put things together. If you are building a camp to survive and you need, you need to make a chair, but you need to make some kind of structure, someplace to sleep. Having notches helps two round pieces fit together better. You make a round piece into a square piece. When you put that next piece on, it's going to hold. Then you can take the things like I just cut off, and I don't know where they all went, like longer pieces of this, and that's when you take the two and you just fold it across, and boom, you're good. You make a little tie. Now, when you make some long ones, you can actually take three, braid them together, and make them even stronger. But that right here would just hold two little sticks together, right? It would just, even though you're going to get there with like just gravity, basically the weight of themselves holding on to each other, it's just that little bit of extra something, right? So it's always good to have. Whew. Golly, I love this knife. I love this knife. Let's see if we can get it around. Let's see, it's always hard when I hold you guys and do this. But it's not impossible. Oh my gosh, that was stuck in. But look at that. All this rotted wood. Let's try that again. Oh, I'm getting it around. I gotta learn to throw this knife because I like to be able to throw all my knives. There we go. So that time I just backed up, went from the handle, gave it a nice solid throw, a nice hard one. Look at that, 5 yards. That's my spot. 5 yards throwing from the handle. I'll be able to throw this all day long. And that's how you find out. All you do is take a couple throws, you miss a couple, you figure out where it's going to be. Now you've seen, one, I hit dead sideways into that tree. There's no loosening in the scales. There's no cracking in the scales. This thing's tough as hell. This thing is just tough, baby. All right, so let's see. We got some more of these. I just love that. I just love that. Just cutting them up. All right, so kindling, so we can get a fire. Let's see. Gosh, I love this knife. It's just the thing is, while I'm talking to you and while I'm moving and while I'm going in, but it's in my hand, and it's just the feeling of it in my hand. It's just so nice. I can tell you all day long, but it's something that you have to experience. It's something that once you put in your hand, then your body catches up to what I'm saying. Straight through a big knot. And man, once you pick it up, you don't want to put it down. It's just one of those knives. It's a forever knife. It's something that you're going to be able to trust and work with and always have and just always use. It's fantastic. I almost F-bombed there. I'm so excited. I almost threw out an F-bomb, and I never do that in a video. So let's use the side grip. Because of a nice wide blade, we can get a really good side grip. Being a lefty, I'm not going to lie, this is awesome. See where my pinky is? Look at that. I can turn the blade with my pinky inside that bow hole. So for you lefties, that's going to be a really nice thing. But look at this. Look at this. We are going to, I'm going to do a little fire, I think. So what I'm going to do is just get a bunch of this stuff going. Just a bunch of it. And see what kind of time it's going to take me. I have a couple dry leaves before it starts raining. I'll be able to crunch some leaves into there and get that going. But until then, let's just get some of this, try and keep it all together. I want some fatties and some curls. So we're going to get some swoops and we're going to get some curls. We're going to knock them all together. I'm gonna light a fire. I'm gonna light a fire because man make fire. So let's see. That's, oh man, so nice, so nice. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna take some of that. I'm gonna put it right there in the little hole that I used the last time. I have some leaves here. And I'm just gonna make a nice little nest in here. And I got my ferro rod. And I gotta try and get this whole thing together. Let's see. All right, let's see what we can get here. Let's see, I have the feathers pulled in this way, and we're gonna see. You know, I'm gonna try the spine. Last time I just used the actual part made for it, and I didn't show you if the spine will work. Oh, I got smoke. You know what they say? Where there's smoke, I got flame. I got flame, baby. Oh, look how nice that is. So it's a Condor. It's Walter Mathews. Come on, man. Does it get better than a Walter Mathews Condor for any of this kind of stuff? Man, look at that. All those little tiny curls burnt right. I mean, those curls were so fine. They just went away in seconds. I got through those. Look at this. This is nice. And again, always remember, put out your fires, snuff them out, use water, use sand, use dirt, or just crush them down until there's no embers, because you don't want to be the guy starting the forest fire. There we go. No heat on my hand. I know I'm good. So I'll tell you, man, this guy, it just every single time I look at one of his knives, or I pick up one of his knives, or I'm doing something with one of his knives, every time I just find a new way to be impressed. Walter Matthews is just, he's the guy. Let's see if we can get a nice little, look at that. It's all folding on me because it's ripped, but look at this. Look at these little cuts I'm getting on this pool noodle. Look at this. I'm feathering a pool noodle. That's after doing all that, after banging on it. This thing is just awesome, man. What a great knife. Walter Matthews. If you haven't had the Walter Matthews experience, if you haven't gone over to Condor Knives yet, go over, read his bio. There's a whole section that says designers. And look at his bio and see what he's about, see who he is. Because just reading about him is gonna automatically pique your interest in a knife, because you're gonna know the guy's for real. He's 100% for real. But better than that, you're gonna actually see the knives. This thing right here, ridiculous. Let's see. Boom. That was super clean. Boom. Gosh, I mean, I could do this all day. This thing is great. This isn't a good knife. This is a great knife. He designed it, but Condor had to knock it out of the park in building it, and they really did. They took his vision and they made it into a solid, nasty MFer. This thing is awesome. So, I gotta say, man, if you're looking for a serious, and I mean serious, bushcraft knife with a great sheath and great possibilities, if you're looking for that one knife that you can take out to the woods anytime, every time, and just get it done, man, this is it right here. Ask Patrick Starr. Rawr, he knows. I think this is dope. It is dope. All right, so that's it for this one. I'm really, really excited about this knife. I'm going to clean it up, and then this is going to be one of my absolute go-tos. I already have the bag it's going in. I'm replacing one knife. I'm not going to say which knife I'm replacing this one, because I don't want to make that knife seem worse when it's not. I mean, it's like a bad knife when it's just not this. This is a different kind of animal. So that's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Until next knife.